City Business 4.1, a discussion on a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorize the city manager to execute negotiated ground lease of the property generally located at 2775 Northwest 183rd Street, Miami Gardens, Florida 33056, in accordance with the term sheet attached to a substantial form as Exhibit A, providing for adoption organization, providing for an effective date. And this was brought as a workshop as a result of the May 8, 2024 council meeting.
All right. Questions from the dais?
Amir, I don't have a question. I do want to thank Mr. Holland for the opportunity. I know we had a meeting where we discussed more in detail as it relates to what this project will consist of and what it brings to the city. I do know at one point in the conversation we talked about the portion that's designed for workforce housing and the percentage of that which I'm appreciative about. I just want to mention a thought that as we go through the overall development process, should we decide to move forward next week at the council meeting, that we're keeping in mind of our two local institutions and our surrounding colleges to potentially have somewhat of housing for our college students around. I do know there's a number of residential communities that have entered into agreements with our institutions that allow certain areas as far as law schools and different categories and different levels to deal out. But overall, after looking at it and examining, I think it's a great project. I think it will we'll be able to do some great things when it talks about the development portion of it. So I don't have any concerns around that.
And I echo the same sentiments as my colleague. I think you guys did a great job with addressing the workforce housing part of it. And want to commend you and the city manager's office for sitting down and hearing all of the issues that we had at the last meeting and making sure those adjustments got taken care of.
Yes, I too agree. I appreciate you taking note to my concerns regarding the local community and their ability to be able to afford this, and by just doubling the amount of housing that would become available to them, that really made me feel a lot better. In addition, the outreach that you are really going to do to make sure that our community members, community members in Miami Gardens have just as much of an opportunity to live in this area with the housing, in the space that they've grown up.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you about. I didn't know.
I think also one of the things that we talked about that I thought was extremely important to me, and that was to ensure that it's not just a grand opening opportunity, but that it would be a way in which we could really revisit how we lease, and how some of our residents can really get in and be able to stay, and that the rates and how we can look at creatively and getting them in and keeping them in so that we don't become a transient community, but rather become a community where it's long-term living for folks who might want to be out of their home and into a nice apartment. And I just was very, very happy at the way in which you kind of explained the different levels of the apartment accommodations and amenities. So allowing for seniors, allowing for higher end apartments, and then just the kind of entry level apartments. That was a very good conversation. So your articulation of things kind of gave me a little bit of rest and a little bit of insight into how this project is going to unfold. So I thank you for your time. I really, really do.
Mayor?
Yes.
Oh, Sorry.
Go
Did
ahead.
you were going to say something? Oh, okay. No, I also wanted to, there's two more things that I wanted to say. The first thing is, should we, of course, at the next council meeting, we vote and we move forward with it. I would love for, I know I've spoken to the city manager. In fact, we hosted a lunch and learn of our city university partnership. And present at that meeting was the Florida Memorial University trade program, construction trade program. So I would love to, and not just with this particular program, Mr. Manager, of course, just moving forward across the board, find ways that we can implement those students, because we have a number of Miami Gardens residents through our city university partnership that's taking advantage of that program at Florida Memorial. So we can find ways to incorporate the individuals and create those opportunities that would do that would make my heart smile. And then, you know, what I've shared with you and I shared with everyone else, I don't think no one is pro development than myself. I just want it done. I just want the project to get done so that we can see it and continue to create a community where you can live, work, and play. And this is one that I believe would do that. So thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
And just one more thing, I'm sorry.
Hold on one second. Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
I yield to the
You want to yield to her? Go ahead.
I know I asked this question before. I don't know if I got an answer clear in my head, but don't we have an ordinance that people who do business are I won't say use the word required or I don't know what the word is, but we have an ordinance that we say if you're going to do business with the city that you hire city personnel. Or, I mean, residents, you give preference? I don't like to use the word.
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, can I
Yes.
just piggyback what the Vice Mayor said and Councilman Stevens?
Yes, go ahead.
But I do want to tell Mr. Holland, thank you so much for sitting down and working through the issues with us. I appreciate it. And I just want to say, I will be bringing an item to council probably sometime in June. I was able to talk with the program director at Florida Memorial University, along with Mr. Sherman Grant, to get them to develop a program where we will be identifying the opportunity for on-the-job training with some of those students that are going through the college program that we've designed through Councilman Stevens. So hopefully we'll bring that back soon, and then once all these other developments get going, that'll be attached to them as well.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. That's good. Very good.
So,
Mr. Holland,
very briefly, I think you'll be very happy. In addition to this project, there are about 5 other projects that we're doing. 3 with HUD, where we're taking some of the old county housing projects, tearing them down, moving tenants out, but moving them back into new developments. Some will have some townhome ownership made out of Rinco block, which is a plastic block that makes them energy efficient. They're twice as strong as regular block and easy to train people on in our community to work with because they're light, doesn't require the technical trade to do it. We'll be doing that on some of those projects with solar systems, as well as some other apartment buildings. We're redoing Claude Pepper Park. It's roughly right now estimated about 1,500 units on Claude Pepper Park on 135th Street, restaurant, bowling alley, and some other stuff, same company. But you'll be proud of this. In all of those projects, we're using Florida Memorial's trade program. So it would also be included in this one. So it's not just this that we're doing it. We're taking those programs that are bringing high function to us being employed in the market and finding a way to get them immersed in all of these projects throughout Dade County. We're also using Career Source as a job placement to reach out in the area codes of those areas where we're putting these developments in to make sure we get people out of those communities employed as well. So if you know people, pass that information on or pass it on to Career Source because we're working. We're also doing a scholarship program in some of the areas to create HVAC scholarships for folk. And there's one other trade program that we're creating scholarships for. So we'll be rolling that out, not just because of this, but it's on all of them. So we're really trying to bring something from the bottom up. The only thing that separates this development from some of those others, the others are affordable and workforce, and some of the county HUD projects, this is professional housing we're trying to bring here. Sure. Because you have others that are doing a lot of the workforce and affordable. So we're trying to bring something because every city should have a diversity of their housing stock.
For sure.
And so this was something that, and I want to give the manager credit for this because he beat us across the head. This was originally, they were talking 3 stories, in the initial iterations that went out. The manager said, no, we want something that is strong for this community, that brings about some life to the downtown area, and we want it to be class. We want it to be upscale. He even required that we do a market study. We paid over $25,000 for a market study. This shows a robust market for this. So the reason you're just getting it now is because we've been going through this process where the manager has been demanding these high stakes for this development. But as we're still trying to make it a high stake professional development, again, we increased the 20% workforce. We think it will be something that will be a jewel in the community that will also spur other similar development and hopefully even bring in other variety of types of restaurants as well. So, you have a place where everybody can enjoy Miami Gardens. So we're excited about it. We're more than willing to deal with the job preferences. I'm sure the manager will make sure that's dealt with in the development agreement. But we're excited to be the first to be able to bring this to Miami Gardens in hopes of making the city proud of what we're trying to do. And I don't know if you saw some of the renditions. I'll just show some of the pictures without belaboring the point. This is off of 183rd Street, roughly what kind of projected that look to be. This is on the canal side.
Mr. Holland, give me 1 second. As we go through these pictures, I just wanted to, there's residential housing to the west of this property. How would that?
Because we're setting it back quite a ways from the canal.
Okay.
And we're giving a lot of green space and parking, so you won't have a lot of activity in the evenings or anything around the canal, other than maybe if people on either side decide to now make better use of the waterway, they could. So it's just showing you that ability, but it'll be heavily landscaped. And remember that linear park goes all the way around this property.
Correct.
So you'll have a way that people actually come out and enjoy it. Not just the residents, but the community gets to enjoy that whole linear park, and we will maintain it.
Okay.
Again, 183rd Street, roughly. This is the canal side. This is internal. Both buildings will have similar features like this here with the pools, the gym areas, and all that stuff. So it really makes an oasis. And the way the buildings surround it, you can be in this space and not hear the noise of traffic or anything else going on around you. And again, the parking garages and all that stuff will have the greenery and all that hangs down. It really gives it an upscale feeling. Cabanas, you name it, all that will be on this.
Yeah, and where's the parking garage station design? What portion of the property?
So in phase 1, let me see if I can. In phase 1, there's surface parking. So phase 1 gets built closer to 183rd Street with the retail and all that stuff first. Once phase 1 is leased up, then you build phase 2. There's no way you can build it and get 500 families in a year. It's normally like 20 a month. So phase 1 is with the surface parking. Phase 2, the parking garage gets built in the middle. And the phase 2 gets built to the northern portion.
Got you. I think my only concern, so that I don't have to keep Xing the questions to lead to it, is the view of the residential housing that surrounds it. Like, I want to make sure that we're not putting up a big shadow building or buildings that will prevent what they currently see or what is happening from the nature portion of it.
Well, they may see some building at a high level. If you look at the pictures here, you see the lush landscaping that'll be around that, because that's what the linear park will be. And then you have the waterway. So you're still quite a ways away from those residents to those buildings.
Got you.
So,
That
And
makes
it's
sense.
only on one side.
yeah.
Yeah, only you're talking about like that. I mean,
Like on one side is the U-Haul. And,
Right.
And then on the other side, you got the canal, then the houses.
right. So the
And then
building.
behind it is the AT&T.
So we're talking about the buildings going up. Well, I mean, throughout the property, of course, please. I mean, develop. But I'm speaking, I know the housing portion of it is more on your west side, your west, north, or the northwest portion. And then on the east side is where you have more of the retail buildings. That's like your U-Haul and the gas station that's being built there and all of those other things. So that ideally to me, that would be the best way to put up, buildings or whatever the case may have you. And that way the residential housing that's on the west portion of it won't be affected so much so by the overall development. When it comes down to the nature portion of it is what I'm speaking of.
They won't be affected as much because if you look at the building there, which would be on the west side of the property. That would be the balconies. So all that real activity goes internal to the property.
Got you.
And then when you look at the canal, then after the canal, you have the linear part that goes around the property. And then you'll have shade trees and all kind of other stuff that kind of gives you this transition there. So you won't have a lot of noisy effects on the neighbors. It will really just give them a better vista of what they have now.
But that's not necessarily, I mean, that's a concern, but it's not the point that I'm trying to make here. The point I'm making is opening up your window and experiencing natural light, natural sunlight.
Because of the setback, because it's so far from
Okay,
home,
now
they
you
still
understand.
get that natural sunlight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they
Thank
still
you.
get the natural sunlight.
Thank you.
It's not right up on the canal. So
Right.
it's
That's
built
what I'm
back
making sure that whatever the project is happening, it won't give them shade 24 hours
No,
a day.
They'll have full sunlight when the sun comes up to that peak.
Thank you.
For sure they will.
Right. So these are some of the other renditions when you look at them collectively on there. And again, back to 183rd Street. But the architectural design, like I said, we have Kobe Karp, who's a world-class designer, doesn't cut any corners. So we're hoping to have all these perks in here that the city will be able to look at this. Hopefully when you start doing your promotions on your city, you'll take this building to be part of it, like Modern Age, used to have or Levis, who used to have the arch. We hope this building becomes the signature piece for Miami Gardens if it's done right.
If it's done right.
We want it done right.
We want it done right.
Well, I can tell you, the manager's already on it. Make sure it's done right. And so we're obviously we're ready to go. And the sooner we get through this process, we think we can be moving in 18 months after getting the zoning, have a shovel in the ground, getting things done. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question. It's just more so to our city manager. Along with this, after the item comes back before us and my colleagues and I decide whichever way we're going to head into, along the project phases and the development, I would just like if we can receive some kind of update. I don't want to give you a timeline and say every 3 months, every 6 months. I would just like as many updates as possible so that we know what's happening. Because like I said, I just want to get it done. So I would appreciate if we can receive.
Not a problem.
But can we kind of amend that? Like just a project update period
Yeah.
of all projects, like this one, but all projects that are going on. We should probably every quarter just get an update of where we are. I don't know about anybody else, but it seems like I blink and a year is gone. Time is going so fast, and to harness it, it kind of helps you to be brought back to a ground level where you can really see where we need to be. Is that okay? Like maybe 4 times a year?
Thank God for the city attorney, boy. Get him right, Madam Attorney. Get him right.
It could be, okay.
It could be done.
I'll say it from my chest. Yes,
It could be done. It could be done. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions, Council?
No, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Holland, we appreciate your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Appreciate
for your
it.
time.
All right. Show this workshop adjourned.